Having a street fight is a scary thing, and I don't recommend you ever doing this, but there's always a chance it might happen. There's some idiots out there that might mess with you, and if they do, you need to know what to do. That's why I created this video, giving you everything you need to know in case that happens. As you can see across the bottom here, there's different sections of this video that you can go to learn about. Now I want to start off with 3 things that you should always do if you're in a street fight. I just want to start off by saying, you should be trying to de-escalate the street fight for all costs. Get out of there. Get away from there. The last thing you want to do is street fight. Swallow your pride. I know you might have had a few drinks and you might have that false courage and you might think you're a bit of a hard case, but no, it's not worth it. Even if the guy is smaller than you, skinnier than you, it doesn't matter. You know, you can get seriously hurt. His friend can come around the side, bop, that's it. Your life will never be the same again. So please de-escalate it at all costs. If you've tried to and it's going to happen, doesn't matter, you might be backed into a corner and there's nothing you can do. These 3 things will really help you. Now the first thing is be ready and be aware. And the way to be ready is in like a stance. Like, you know, you're ready. Watch the person and see what you think he's going to do. And have your peripheral vision watching the surroundings so he hasn't got mates coming in from the side. Again, you've tried to get out there, you can't. He's coming on. Now you need to be ready and prepared. And ideally, you know a little bit of boxing or jiu-jitsu or wrestling, but boxing is ideal for this situation. So if you don't know any, you can watch my video on Boxing 101 where I break down for you everything in boxing, or go to a local boxing gym. You don't have to get punched in the face, just go there and learn how to throw your hands. So again, back to it. Now number 1, you're ready, you're aware, and this right here is going to help rather than being switched off and not ready and not expecting it, because what's going to happen, boom, game over. Be ready. And you know, in boxing and streets as well, you know, it's always harder to knock someone out if they're ready and they're expecting it. In boxing fights, this is why knockouts doesn't happen all the time, because we're expecting punches coming towards us. And when we're expecting a punch coming towards us, it's less chance that we're going to get knocked out. We're aware of it. So you need to be aware of what's going to happen. If you're relaxed, it's good night, you know. But if you're expecting it, even if you do get hit, you're going to be able to take the punch better. Now moving on to number 2, it is keep your eyes up all the time. Let's say the fight's kicking off, and I've seen it so many times where someone will come and they'll curl down in a ball and they'll be in the corner. Nah, think about it. Just think about this. Is there a worse position you can be in other than being lying on the floor than this? No, you need to keep your eyes up at all times. Keep your eyes forward at the person who's throwing the punches. And now it's easier said than done because someone's punching you. First thing you'll probably want to do is close your eyes or turn away, but you can't do that. Again, you're in that bad position. If you turn away, boom, you'll get a knee to the face, a kick to the face. So many things can happen. You know, keep your eyes forward. And if you've learned a little bit of boxing, it makes it easier. So I'm here, even if the punches are coming towards us, no matter what position I'm in, I'm always got my eyes facing forward. No matter what punch you're throwing, it's the same with boxing. I'm here, you know, them eyes don't leave the person who's in front of us. And as well, if you've got your eyes on him all the time, you can really learn about where he's at. He might throw 5 or 6 punches and get tired fast, because that's what happens. People get tired fast in street fights. If he gets tired fast, then it's your turn. But you need to keep them eyes at him at all times. Now the third thing, before I get on to show you the demo of how to punch, is get the first punch off. Now, before you do this, I want you to think you're doing this at your own risk. What I would do, if I've tried to de-escalate the fight, I can't run away, I can't get out of there, the fight is going to happen. I am going to throw the first punch rather than him, because if he throws it at me, I could be finished like that. I'm going to get the first punch off. I would throw it at the body. I've done a video on how to finish a fight in seconds. You should definitely watch that video after this one, which is throwing the punch to the body. But, you know, I would do it. Now it's up to you, because by law, the person who throws the first punch is the person who is responsible for the fight. But we've tried to de-escalate the fight. I'm getting that punch off and I'm getting the hell out of there. So yeah, but think about that yourself. I'm going to show you the best punch to throw in a street fight if you are throwing a punch. It is a straight right hand. How you throw a straight right hand correctly. Now, if you've got a imaginary line on the ground, you've got one foot on one side, one foot on the other side, hand up from your face, you want to throw it all the way out, all the way back. You want to fully extend, turn your hip and exhale at the same time, and it'll look like this. And you can see just there how much power I got in the bag. Again, from the face. Now guys, you should definitely learn how to do that. I make it look easy because I've got 17 years competitive experience. I've been doing this forever. Practice it, practice in the mirror, practice on a heavy bag, go to the gym, practice on mitts with a trainer. Watch my other videos on this channel where I give you lots of deep education on doing that stuff correctly. Now here are 3 techniques that you should use if you are ever in a street fight. Number 1, what should you do so you don't get exhausted? Well, the first thing is learn to relax. If it's going to kick off, you're going to start fighting, try and relax. I know it's easier said than done, but when I'm saying relax, I don't mean, just chilling and totally relaxing and switching off. No, I mean relaxing, getting ready, being relaxed, rather than tightening up and your heart's beating really fast. Your heart will beat fast, you will be nervous, but try and stay relaxed. Try and breathe your way through it, and that's going to really help you from not getting tired. You don't want to get tired before this even starts. That's what happens. People will be getting nervous, they'll be getting tight, and they'll be all tensed up, tired. No. Stay relaxed. And number 2 is don't waste punches. Another thing I see all the time is people wasting punches. So they'll be in a fight and this will be that guy there and they'll be like this and this will be loading up and they'll be like, whoa. Yeah, and not only will they miss a punch and look absolutely stupid, but as well it takes a lot of energy. If you're loading up a big heavy punch, holding your breath and throwing that punch, you're going to get tired really fast. And again, if you get tired fast, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get beat up. You don't want to get beat up, right? No one does, not unless you're a little bit silly. But you don't want to get beat up. So, don't be wasting punches. If you've got your guy and he's fighting and then he covers up and he's got his arms like this, I've seen this before, and you're like, on the arms, guess what? You're going to be exhausted after. Game over. So yeah, don't be wasting punches on that. You try and pick your punches, pick where you're going to punch. And you might not have any experience in fighting whatsoever. So a big tip is learn some boxing. I've done a full video that is in below about how to box, how the basics of boxing. Watch that, learn about that. That will really help you in this situation. The number 3, it's pretty similar to number 1, which is learn to breathe when you punch. I told you about staying relaxed, but you want to stay relaxed when you're punching as well, because if you're tight, your punch will be slower. You're going to waste way too much energy. So you need to relax and breathe. And now that leads me on to showing you how to do it. I'm going to show you exactly how to punch and tell you exactly where to punch. This is how you punch them, and this is where you're going to punch them. I've done a full video on how to finish someone in seconds. And the way you finish someone in seconds in a street fight is hit them in the right place. And the right place, my friend, is right here in the solar plex. If I'm blasting someone in the solar plex there, guess what? They're not getting up. It doesn't matter how big they are. If you hit me there, like I'm going to show you right now, I'm done. I'm finished. So how do you hit someone there like that? Well, it's all about turning your hips, fully extending your arm and exhaling when you throw that punch. And it'll look like this. Anyone in the world, I hit them with that in the right place, they're game over, they're finished. But you need to learn how to do that. It took me years to learn how to punch like that. You can too. These things here will really help you if you're ever in a fight. Okay, the first thing is that you need to learn how to do is move your feet. Now, I'm not talking about moving your feet running away, which is not a bad option when it's coming to a fight. I kind of would recommend that, but that's not always the case. I might be in a corner here like this, and there's nowhere to run if I've got someone in front of us. So learn footwork. Learn how to move your feet in a boxing stance position. If your feet are right, fight in a correct position, you're going to have great balance and be in the perfect position to throw any punch that you want. Now, this is what you should work on to do this. You want to have your dominant foot back. What is your dominant foot? Well, it's the foot that you would kick a ball with. For me, it's my right foot. So you want to have that back. Now, the reason why you want to have that back, because now your back hand is back, which is your dominant hand. And when this is back, you can rotate and you can throw it. When you rotate and throw a punch, you get more power into that punch. So you want to have this back here. And as well, you've got way better balance like this than you have like this. If someone hits me in this position, I'm going to fall back. The last thing you want to do if you're in a fight or you're trying to defend yourself is fall back and fall on the floor. So look, I've got my right foot back. Now I've got a solid base position. Now I want you to visualize you've got a line on the ground. You've got one foot on one side, one foot on the other side. Loose knees like this. Now look at this where I am compared to this where most people are falling back. So that's why we need to get these footwork, this base solid. This is your foundations of your boxing stance, of your fighting stance, if you like. So we need to have this solid. Now from there, moving forwards and backwards. We don't want to walk forward like this, because imagine this. If I step forward like this and I get hit, what's going to happen? I'm going to fall over. Again, we don't want to fall over. But instead, what I want to do is when I move forward, I want to keep this left foot forward with my hands up high. Now I'm always ready to throw a punch no matter what's going to happen. So I'm here, I'm in this good footwork, this good movement position. Now when I'm on my toes, I can move faster. So if he does throw a punch, I can step back and get out of the way of it. And you've probably seen street fights before where they'll throw big punches and they're like, whoa. Now, the best way for you to get out of the way of that punch is by stepping. None of this slipping stuff, or none of this Jason Statham, getting in arm locks and all this stuff we see on movies. No, it's just a simple step back here. Whoom. Now, if I step back there, whoom, he's threw a big punch, boom. Then I can counter that punch with a punch of my own. So that's the first thing. Getting them feet solid is a game changer in fighting. Now we've got the footwork down, which is your defense. And you've probably heard the phrase in boxing before, the name of the game is to hit and not be hit. We don't want to be hit, but if someone's hitting us, we want to hit them. So let's talk about throwing punches. How do you throw punches? Where should you throw punches? And when should you throw punches as well? Well, like I mentioned, if someone's thrown that big right hand, which is the punch that they're more than likely going to throw at you, then when they went over there, boom, then we can throw your right hand over the top and get them. But one thing you don't want to do when you're throwing punches is throw punches anywhere and don't waste punches. Someone might be like this and you might be hitting them there. No, we don't ever want to do that. You're going to hurt your hands and you're going to waste a lot of energy. When you are throwing punches, pick your punches. Pick where you're going to hit them. Breathe while you're doing it. If you can exhale while you're throwing a punch, what's going to happen? Your power is going to increase. You're going to use less energy and the punch will be faster as well. So I'm here. So I've stepped back because he's through that swinging punch. Turn into it and throw the punch of my own. Here are 3 ways to end a street fight in a matter of seconds. Now, one method you might have seen on YouTube, a viral video when someone takes all his clothes off and runs after the person who wants to fight him. That works, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about some real self-defense stuff. So there's a few things that you can do to end the street fight, and this is my guy there. One thing that I would do, because I've got that boxing background and I can punch hard and I know about how to punch correctly. I know how to punch correctly, so what I would do, I would punch them straight here in the solar plexus where the ribs come together, just above there. Now, if you have ever been hit there, you've ever boxed and been hit there, you will know that the pain there is horrible. It is really, really bad. And if I've got someone in front of me who is trying to fight us, I want to punch them there. And I'm going to show you exactly how I would punch them. But, what this does, this will finish them off. 100%. Hit someone there hard, they're done. The fight is over. And I've won that fight in seconds in one punch. As well, I know that it's not going to kill them. Punching someone as hard as you can in the face, chances are that can do some serious damage, especially if you know how to box and throw these punches. But punching them here, like I said, that's going to finish the fight. Fight's done, over, you've won, then you can get the hell out of there. So how would I do it? Well, first thing is, I don't want to be standing square on with an opponent or with a attacker or a bully, whoever it is, like this. I don't want to be having my feet like this and standing parallel square on like this. I want to be here. Now I'm in my boxing stance a little bit. I've done a full video on Boxing 101. Check that video out after this. I tell you everything about the boxing stance and all the punches. But yeah, I want to get in this boxing stance. Now the reason why I'm in this stance is I can move faster. And when I do throw that punch, I can rotate into it, which gets more power into it. Compared to here, I'm not getting that much power in it. So what I want to do, as soon as it's happening and he's coming on, I'll get my hands up, ready, in that boxing stance, whoom, and then throw the punch. And it'll look like this. So I'm here, left foot forward, because I'm right-handed. I'm here. I can even step back as he comes forward, step back, boom. That right hand there. Doesn't matter how big they are, how strong they are. Me who's got all this boxing experience, if someone hits me like this and I'm used to it, I'm done. I'm on the floor. I'm on me back. I'm finished. Again, I'm here like this. I'll step back, boom. There. Yeah, I'm done. I'm finished. Anyone, it doesn't matter how big they are. It might be someone like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, John Cena, Francis Ngannou. If you hit someone like that and they're not expecting it, the fight is over. Boom, like that. But you need to learn how to punch. Now, what I've just showed you there, it might look simple, and it is for me because I've got all this experience, but if you've not done it before, that is going to be pretty difficult for you. So that is one way you can end it. Now, the next way is I'm here. Again, I'm getting that back foot back. Hands are like here, and if he's come on, I'm going to open palm, whoom, slap him around the side of the head. Now, you might have seen some videos. It's kind of like a youth sport, or if you want to call it, no, I'm not going to call it a sport. I'm not going to give it that credit, where they've got hold of each other's hand and they're whacking each other. I've seen it on TV. There was an event before the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight, and there's men doing it, there's women doing it. It's absolutely stupid. That right there, an open palm slap, boom, to the head, can do some serious damage if you rotate your hips. So let's say I'm here and my hands are there. It's just going to be a turn the hip, open palm, and now watch the power I get in this. So I'm there. Now that right there, finishing someone off. It really is, because they're not expecting it. They're not expecting it. One more time, I'm here. I'm rotating the hips. I'm turning into it. And the reason why I'm doing this rather than punching, well, punching, I can really damage my hand. So I'm here again. Oh, yeah. And now the last one that you can do is headbutt them. Let's see if I'm getting up really close here, or if he's grabbed hold of us and I can't really do anything from this position here, is stick the headbutt on hard. Aim for the nose. So I'm here. I'm not going to really do the back, but I'm here. Boom. Blasting that headbutt straight into his nose. If you can't get your hands loose, or you can't seem to be able to land that step back punch or that open palm there, yeah, that's a great one as well. Now this is totally on you. By law, the person who throws the first punch is the person whose fault it is for the fight. Now, it's on you if you want to do that. What I would do personally, I would throw the first punch, because I'm not taking the risk of getting knocked out and damaged, or drinking through a straw, or being in a hospital, or a broken nose. I'm not taking that risk, because in street fights, that can happen. You can fall wrong, bang your head, game over, you're never the same for the rest of your life. And I actually knew someone who that happened to in Sunderland. It was a close family friend, and it's not worth it. I will throw that first punch. If I've done everything that I can do, I will throw that first punch. Now, if a fight's going to kick off, you need to know when to see punches coming. And on this part of the video, I show you exactly how to see if someone's going to throw a punch at you or not. First thing is, when you're on the streets, what punch people generally throw is an overhand right, where it'll be like a on the back here, and you know, that is actually the easiest punch to defend, or for you to anticipate, so you can move out of the way and come back with a counter punch of your own. So you got to think about that. If someone is looking at you and they're coming up to you, or someone's in front of you and they're squaring off, you know, be aware of that right hand. Yes, I get it, they might be left-handed, or yes, I get it, they might throw a jab or an uppercut or whatever. I'm talking in general. The general
punch that I've seen thrown in the streets, probably 19 times out of 20, is a big overhand swinging right. So that's the punch that you've got to be aware of. Now you know what punch they're going to throw. Where should your eyes be? Where should you be looking? Now, if you were in a boxing match, I would always tell you to look into someone's chest area. If you're looking here on my chest, you know, your peripheral vision, you can see everything. But we're not in a boxing match, we're in the streets. And now in the streets, I would look directly into the person's eye, because when you're looking into someone's eye, again, 9 times out of 10, you can tell if they're going to throw the punch or not. So you can tell by their face, by their facial expressions, if they're getting angry, if their hands is getting tighter like this, you know, that's when they're going to throw that big overhand right. So I would look directly into their eyes. So now you know they're going to throw that right hand, you're looking into their eyes. Now, next thing is, where do you want to be standing? How do you want to be standing? This is very important. The last place you want to be is like up against a wall like this and someone's in front of you, or even just standing with like this in this position where you're standing upright, you know. You don't want to be against the wall because, you know, you cannot move back, and it's much harder to defend if you're against the wall. If you're in a boxing ring, it's the same thing. It's much harder to defend if you're against the ropes, but we're outside. So you want to try and get your back away from the wall. So now let's just say, for example, someone's standing here in front of me, and I think that they're going to throw this big right hand, which is on his obviously right side here. I want to try and move to my right, which is kind of away from the right hand. So I would put my hands up. This kind of means like, you know, back off, and I would kind of like try and walk away. Now I'm getting my back off the wall and I'm moving away from his right side. I'm moving away from that big right hand. Now, if I'm moving to my right and he throws that right hand, you know, there's obviously less chance he's going to hit us, but as well, if it does hit us while I'm moving, it takes the sting out the punch, but we don't want to get hit. You never want to be against the wall, moving away to your right, which is away from his right. Now, your position, you don't want to be upright, stand like this. You need to be in this kind of stance with your left foot forward. You want to have loose knees here, and you want to be kind of, you know, ready, and a little bit of movement like this, just loose. You know, just loose, unless the fight started, and then I would be more, you know, moving more. So you're here, you're loose, because if you think I'm loose here, it's easier for me to slip off the punch. If I'm stiff and upright, it's harder for me to get away from the punch. So I want to be here, loose, and I'm ready. Now, if you want to get your hands higher and you want to be here saying no, like you've moved away here, and it's like no, but you want to get in that boxing stance position. If you don't know anything about boxing, you know, click the link below. I've got an ultimate guide on boxing where I teach you everything you need to know to learn the basics of boxing. Click that out, check that video out. But if you do know boxing, yeah, like I said, you want to get in this loose knees position and be ready for the punch coming, rather than being a stiff, upright target like that. Get ready. And as well, if you do get in this stance position, you're looking in his eyes, you can see that right hand's there, if it's clenching or not. If you are in this position as well and you've got your hands here, this guy's going to think, oh, he's in his boxing stance, he knows boxing, and that might get in his head a little bit and prevent him from throwing that punch. Now, another thing you could do is try and get him to throw the punch. Now, obviously we don't want him to throw the punch, but if he's here and he's tensed up, you know, and you want to know when that punch is coming, get him to throw the punch. So how do you get him to throw that punch? Well, I'll get him to throw that punch by feinting. You know, if he's there and you got your hands up like this, a little feint like that, what he's going to do is react and then swing that punch. And now you know when that punch is going to come. You know, but again, I don't know if I would recommend this, because you don't want to throw the punch. You kind of want to avoid it and get out of there. Now you've anticipated this punch coming. Whether you do get him to throw the punch, where you can see that, or you can see the anger in his eyes or her eyes, or whoever it is going to throw that punch. How do you defend it? Because we've seen it now. How do you defend it? The best way to defend it, as long as you're away from the wall, is a lean back. You know, lean back, because this big sweeping right hand is coming straight, let's just say, for your chin. You know, if you lean back, you're getting out the way of it. In boxing, I would say a step back, but that might take a little bit too long in the streets. And if you're not used to moving backwards and forwards fast on your feet, like what we do in boxing, then the lean back is probably the best way to get out the way. Another thing, if you are leaning back and the punch just seems to clip you, you know, it's taking the sting out of the punch a little bit. So now you've defended it. Now, what do you want to come back with? I will come back with a straight, solid right hand. Lean back, boom, straight right hand. Again, so I'm this way, I've leaned back, the punches went over there, he's probably went over here, one, straight back with a straight right hand, aim straight for his face. Anywhere in his face, he'll get a shock. He'll be, oh, well, I've missed, I've punched, and then you can go from there. Whatever punches you want to throw, however you want to attack him, if you want to attack him, if you want to just throw that punch and then get out of there, get out of there. And if you can punch correctly, all it takes is one punch. And in the streets, it's not that hard to finish someone off with a punch. If you're defending yourself, if you defend it, then you come back with a punch of your own, a straight right hand, you know, or a left hand if you're a southpaw. That'll be it. It'll be over. And if you're not that familiar with how to throw punches correctly, I highly recommend you learn boxing. And now the tip that I told you at the beginning, I'm going to tell you right now how you can improve your reactions. And that is, get a tennis ball, and you'll need a partner with this. You're going to stand up against the wall. The person in front of you, they're going to throw the ball at your head. You're just going to move and slip out the way of it. So when the person's throwing the ball, it's important that it comes straight for your head. You get your head off that line, and then you can advance that by getting your head off that line, slipping and coming back with a counter punch of your own. This is a great drill that you can do, and all you need is a tennis ball and a partner.
Here I'm going to show you how to punch harder and faster if you're ever in a fight.
Tip number one is stay relaxed. Now, I know it's easier for me to say this than you to do it, but you need to stay relaxed. And when I'm saying relaxed, I don't mean like sitting there like drinking a cup of coffee, just waiting for this street fight to happen. You're so relaxed, you're not worried at all. No, I don't mean that. I mean, stay relaxed with your arms and your shoulders, and you're ready to punch. You want to stay loose. Now, if you can get in a boxing stance position, which basically is if you're right-handed with your left foot forward, I've done a full video on the Ultimate Guide to Boxing. You should check that out if you're not familiar with how to punch, and you'll be able to get lots of tips from that, links below. But basically, you want to be in this boxing stance position with your hands up here, high, ready, staying loose and relaxed here. Because I see it often, and we'll see videos online where people will be throwing punches in a street fight, and they'll be like, really stiff. And when you're stiff, your punches are slower. And if your punches are slower, they're not going to be as hard and they're not going to be as fast. So you need to really stay relaxed and stay loose here to get that punch off. And when you are punching, you do want to exhale as well. That's going to help you with your relaxation. So you're relaxed here. Look, I'm not stiff, I'm relaxed. I want to exhale as I punch. I'm going to give you a great demo of this in a sec. Let's just move on to tip number 2. And this is throw a straight punch rather than a swinging punch. Another thing we'll see all the time is punches coming from over here. Boo, like that. And yeah, the bag's swinging, it connected, and it was pretty hard, and with no gloves on or no padding on, it probably will do a little bit of damage. But it's not efficient to get speed and power into the punch. You've heard the phrase, the fastest way to travel from A to B is in a straight line. So if my arm's got to come all the way around here, right? All the way back here. Now look at the distance it's got to travel from there to just from here. The distance is probably cut in half. And as you see on the screen right now, if you're traveling less distance, guess what? You're going to get there faster. And as well, the power is better, believe it or not. Exhaling with the punch, turning your hip and fully extending. Woo! Now look at that swing from the bag. Now that there, you can see the power is a lot different, a lot better, and the speed is twice as fast as well because the distance is shorter. Now tip number 3 is think about it. Now think about speed. Now you might be thinking, well, yeah, of course I'm going to think about speed, but often people don't think about speed. People think about power or think about getting tight and think about, I need to really swing this punch, and that's when they're like, ugh. No. Now if you're thinking about speed and you're doing what I said in tip number 1 and number 2, which is staying relaxed and throwing that short, straight punch, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get a lot of speed and a lot of power into your punch, and it's going to look like this. So I'm here, I'm going to think about speed. Now look at that, hardest one yet. because I'm thinking about speed. I'm throwing the punch correctly. I'm fully extending my arm. I'm turning my hip. I'm throwing it straight. I'm staying nice and relaxed in the shoulders, right, like here. Now that right there is how you will punch harder and faster in the streets. I hope you never have to have a street fight, but if you do, now you've got a good understanding of how to throw the punch.
Here are some tips on how to win your first fight. We don't want to be fighting, but if we are, we want to win, right?
Guys, I'm going to give you 5 tips on this video about street fighting, and tip number 1 is the most important. Without tip number 1, the other 4 doesn't matter. So make sure you watch the video till the end to get tip number 1. You are going to have a fight, and it might be someone in a car with road rage. It might be someone picking on your friend, or someone, you might have bumped into someone accidentally. Whatever the reason is that you're fighting, you're going to have a fight. And one thing I want you to understand is you're going to be scared. Yes, you're going to be scared. You're going to be nervous. It's a very scary thing. You know, you've got someone who's going to try and beat you up. You know, that is a scary thing. Someone's going to try and hurt you. So expect it. Expect to be nervous, and they will probably be the same as well on the other end. They'll be nervous. They'll be a bit scared, and they might not be showing it. You might think, oh, they're very confident, and you know, they'll not. They'll probably be scared. So tip number 5, act confident. If you're standing there and the fight's going to happen and you're looking nervous and you're down and you're scared, that's going to give your other guy lots of confidence. And he's going to be like, oh, this guy is very scared. I'm going to beat him up. If you're like this. But instead, if you're confident, you want to have your chest up. You want to have your body language showing that you're confident. Have your head up, not your chin in the air. But you want him to see that you're not afraid of getting in this fight with him, even though you are. You want to act it like you're not. Now, this might lead on to the fight not happening, which will be great, and that'll be a result for you. Because if you feel that you're confident and you know what you're doing, that will get into his head and you're like, oh, do I really want to fight this guy? You know? So yeah, the tip number 1 is act confident. And you want to be breathing as well with that, you know? Because you are getting nervous and you are getting scared. It's easy to hold your breath and tense up, and you might be shaking. You know, you want to try and breathe and try and stay relaxed as much as you can, even though it's easier than said than done, because you will, like I said, get nervous. And as well, and street fights are generally over pretty fast. So, you know, try and stay relaxed. Now, tip number 4 is get the first punch off. Throw the first punch. Now, I know that if you got arrested and it was like, well, who threw the first punch? And you threw the first punch, you might be the one who probably get in trouble for throwing the first punch, so you're not supposed to by law. But if you're about to have a fight and someone's about to knock your head off and try and get you, you've tried to avoid the fight and it's going to happen, throw that first punch. Get that first punch off. That's going to shock the person who's trying to fight with you. Boom, for the first punch, shock them. You've got the first hit on. It might disorientate them, and then you can go from there. So yeah, if you can get that first punch off, get the first punch off. Even though, like I said, caution and beware that if you've punched that person first before they lay a finger on you, I think that you're in the wrong by law. But you know, if someone's attacking you, if someone's attacking me, someone's attacking my family, I'm going to hit them. I'm going to hit them first. I'm not bothered about the consequences. If I'm trying to protect myself, someone's coming at us, boom, I'm getting that first punch off, and I'm not bothered about anything else, because if he gets the first punch off, all it can take is one punch for some serious damage to get done. So I'm not going to give him that chance of throwing the first punch. Now, this one, tip number 4, is on you, but this is what I would do. I would get that first punch off. Tip number 3 is be aware of your surroundings. Has the guy or girl, whoever it is, have they got a lot of friends around them as well, that as soon as the fight might go to the ground, you're going to get a kick in the head? Because where I'm from, that happened often. As soon as on the floor, the guy's friends come in, boom, kick them, or done whatever, or you might be fighting this guy, you might get another punch coming from this side. So you need to be aware of your surroundings. And if you're a guy and you're by yourself, you've got 3 or 4 of them, then you definitely want to walk away, or maybe even run away. It's not worth your health. It's not worth the damage that it might be done. Definitely want to avoid fighting more than one person at once, because that's where you could get seriously hurt, and I don't want anyone to fight, never mind get seriously hurt. So be aware of the surroundings, and and if you are fighting and you feel uncomfortable when you're standing up and you're fighting standing up, try and stay on your feet. If you feel better on the ground, get your person to your ground. So be aware of that. And if he has got friends, the chances are he might want to take you down and wrestle you down to the ground. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to be down. You don't want to be on the ground, because that's when a kick to the head might come in, and again, I would try and just avoid this at all costs. Tip number 2 is huge, and it's why I've had so much success in street fights. I can't believe I've just said that in one sentence, because it's something I'm not proud of. Success in street fights is not success. I don't think street fighting is successful at all, but I mean why I've won when I've had them. And this tip number 2 is because I learned boxing. You should learn boxing. You should learn how to throw your fists. And that right there is going to give you the advantage over 99% of people. We've seen street fights on YouTube where people will be like this and they'll be swinging big haymakers and trying to just not knowing what they're doing. All it takes, if you learn boxing, is a punch, a correct punch like this, boom, and that's it. The fight's over. If you land a straight shot like that, the fight is over. But what I've just shown you there, that took a long time, believe it or not, to learn that. You can't just full punch and expect to be a Mike Tyson and knocking people out. You know, you've got to learn boxing, learn the art of boxing, and learn the basics of boxing. And on this YouTube channel, I give you everything you need to know on learning boxing. I've done an ultimate guide to boxing. Click the link below, check it out, and it'll tell you everything you need to know about boxing. It's a great video, so check that one out right there. Now, tip number 1, the most important one of them all. Do whatever it takes to win. It doesn't have to be this. It doesn't have to be a fair fight. There's no such thing as fair fights in street fighting. Now, if you've tried to walk away, you've done everything you can in your power to avoid this fight, and it's still going ahead because this guy or girl is an idiot and they want to just fight, and do what it takes to win. And what I mean by that is bite them, headbutt them, stick your finger up the butt, grab the balls, do whatever you need to do to win this fight, because they would do it to you, you know, they would do it to you. Now, I don't mean if someone's on the ground, just keep smashing them in the head. No, none of that. I don't want anyone to ever get hurt, you know. It's a street fight, someone is going to get hurt. It's like, you know, you don't go swimming and not get wet. You're going to get in a street fight, someone's going to get hurt. You know when to stop. You don't want to seriously do damage to someone when you're fighting. But what I mean by do what it takes to win, do what it takes to win, to get them to surrender or whatever, and then get out there, you know. And like I said, if it does mean you've got to bite them, you've got to headbutt them, you've got to be dirty, because if not, they will do it to you. And I feel uncomfortable saying this and advising this on a video, but I'm doing this for the good guy. I'm on the good guys, in the good guys corner. I'm not in the bad guys corner. So if you're a bad guy and you're a bully, you're an arsehole, and I don't like bullies. I got bullied when I was at school. When I was 10 years old, I got bullied. I got called names all the time, and I got forced to go to school and beat up the bullies, and I did that. So I'm not a fan of bullies at all. So if you're a bully, turn this off and don't subscribe to the channel. Everyone thinks you need to throw a big overhand right in a street fight. No one talks about the jab in a fight. So I'm going to talk about it right now. So in boxing, your jab is the most important punch. And the reason being is because that's how you find your range. That's how you pick your points. That's how you get into your opponent's head, by blasting them with that jab. And all of the great boxers, past and present, have got a fantastic jab. Now, this can be applied when you're doing this in a street fight as well. Because now if you think about it, if I'm here and someone's coming to start a fight with me, which hand is closer? My lead hand. But now if you're standing this way and you're jabbing with your right hand and you're right-handed, it's a terrible punch. But here, this hand is closer. So if this hand's closer to them, it's going to get there faster. It's going to hit them faster. And if I'm not wearing a glove and I hit someone just this hard in the nose, which I'm going to demo in a minute, it's going to be a lot harder than that. But if I hit someone just that hard, that is going to affect them. That is going to put them out of their stride. That's going to make them think twice. And that's another thing. If someone is coming towards you, the chances are they're going to be throwing that overhand, big right hand, trying to knock you out. But visualize this. This guy is throwing that overhand right. By the time this travels from all the way here, all the way to my chin, I can simply blast that jab out and hit him straight in the face. I can beat him to the punch. But if he's trying for that overhand right, and I'm trying for that overhand right, you know, it's anyone's game, the person who lands it first. But with a jab, that fast jab, that's going to stop him in his tracks. And the same it goes with boxing. If I'm this close to someone and I can't land this jab because I'm out of range, How am I going to land this one without having to come off balance? So I've seen fights before where people is out of range and then it's like, wow, and they'll fall over, then they'll look so stupid. Don't be that guy. Let's see if I am out of range, now I can step in with that jab, rather than trying to step in with a big overhand right. Now, whether they're going to run at you, boom, the jab's great. Whether they are standing, getting straight in your face, the jab's great as long as you give yourself that space. Or whether they are standing in a stance like this, or street fighting stance with the big bullies like this, and they try to throw them over the top. The jab is great for all of them situations. So now I'm going to show you how to throw it, get lots of power and lots of speed into a jab if you are ever in a street fight. Before I show you the power jab, I'm going to show you the speed jab. So the speed jab, like I mentioned, if my arm's out a little bit here, it's got less distance to travel. So from here, I can throw fast. And if you notice what I'm doing there, I'm kind of putting a bit of my weight behind it with a slight step. So I'm here, that's speed there. There. Now, how to increase the power in this to get knockout power? Yes, you can get knockout power with a jab, is stepping with it, getting my full body weight behind it. The momentum of my body weight moving behind it will get serious power into the punch, and it looks like this. As you see the bag moving there, that is a hard punch and it will finish just about most people off.
Boxing training, is it useful in a street fight? Let's talk about it.
So boxing training is great. Not only do you get fit, do you get strong and learn how to defend yourself, but it also gives you confidence. That confidence that you might need if you're out on a night out, if you're out with your family. If you ever find yourself in a trouble situation, boxing is great for your mentality. And one thing that boxing really gives you is better timing, better reactions. So if someone like him is going to throw a punch at you, you know exactly when it's coming. And if you know when it's coming, guess what you can do? You can move out the way of it and come back with a punch of your own. Or as well, with the timing, you'll be able to get the first punch off, which you might get in trouble if the police come and see you threw the first punch, and it's up to you if you want to do that or not. But for me, if someone's going to attack me or my family, I'm going to get that first punch off. I'm going to show you exactly what punch to throw, how to punch it hard, how to punch it fast as well. But before I do that, I need to put my boxing gloves on so I don't hurt my hands. And I'm going to show you a magic trick how I do that. Watch this. Just like that. Okay, so now let's get into it. With the timing, like I said, it's everything in this, because in a street fight, either one or two things are going to happen. He's going to come up and he's going to be straight in your face here. And if someone's in my face like this, the first thing I'm going to try and do is put my hands out and back off and like say, mate, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. Try and de-escalate the situation. If he comes on hard and I see he's got a tight fist and he's coming to try and throw a punch at me, what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw the first punch, and guess where I'm going to throw it? Not at the face where you might think. I'm going to throw it right in the body here, right in the solar plexus here, because it doesn't matter how big they are, if you hit them with a great punch there, because you've been learning boxing, guess what's going to happen? The fight is going to end in seconds. So he's here, he's coming forward, he's not stopping, I'm going to have to punch him like that. And as you've seen there, the power was really hard. And that's one way of doing it. Turning your hips, fully extending, exhaling, staying relaxed. Show you in slow motion. He's coming forward, boom, getting that time. And if you see there, my finish position, I've got all my weights coming to my front foot. I'm putting my weight behind the punch, and this right here will finish anyone off. So that's one way of doing it. The other way is throwing a head punch. Now with a head punch, this is a lot more dangerous. You could seriously hurt someone, kill someone. I don't recommend it. But if you can't throw that body shot and he is coming on and you've got to throw that head punch, I would throw like this where he's coming. I've stepped him back, boom. And as you've seen there, the timing was pretty spot on. If I didn't do boxing training, I couldn't throw that punch. One more time, I'm going to step back as he's stepping forward. As my back foot lands, my punch lands there. So he's coming forward, and I'm getting a lot of power in the punch. Mate, I want to stop the video right there and tell you about the sponsor of today's video. This is a supplement company that I swear by, and this is on it. And what they're doing for all my subscribers is giving you 10% off their entire website. They've got post-workout, pre-workout, protein bars, Alpha Brain. That's great for memory and focus. This is what Joe Rogan said about Alpha Brain.
It's 100% legit. If I go to a UFC and I don't have Alpha Brain, I panic.
Now, if you want any of this stuff and want to add a discounted price with 10% off, go to onnit.com/boxing and get 10% off their entire website. The link is below.
It's not always good to stand and fight. Sometimes you might have to run, sometimes you might have to stand and fight. Let's talk about that. First thing, I just want to say, if you're about to get into a street fight, chances are you will be scared, you will be nervous. Everyone does get scared and does get nervous going into a fight. Now, a few things that should you run or should you stay depend on. Now, number one, can you fight?
Do you know how to throw punches? Do you know how to get into a boxing stance and let them hands go? Do you know that? Do you know jiu-jitsu or do you know wrestling? If not, you 100% need to learn that. After you've watched this video, click the link below, check out my ultimate guide to boxing where I teach you everything you need to know from the ground up about throwing your hands, because you really need to know how to throw some punches if you are going to stand and fight. Now, stand and fight, that is not always the right thing to do. You know, in fights, I really believe that the bigger man will walk away, the bigger man will get out of there, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes the fight will have started. Now, if someone is coming towards you, they start throwing punches, it's going to be hard for you to run away. If they are punching you, you want to hit them back. You don't want to take the punches, then run away, hit them back, and then if you are going to run, then run. So that right there is a scenario when I would say, you know, fight back. You know, but a lot of people will have street fights and fight someone back who wants to fight them because that they are scared about what their friends will think. They might have girls there and they might be thinking, oh, I can't run away because I'll look like a coward. You'll not look like a coward. You'll look like a bigger fool if you get beat up. Believe me, if you get beat up and get hurt badly, who's the fool? The guy who got beat up or the guy who ran away and he's safe now? You know, I want to be the guy who runs away and I want to be the guy who's safe. Believe it or not, even though I would stand and have a fight because I know how to do it, but you know, especially if you don't know how to fight, run away, get away. But people don't do it. They think that they might have a few drinks in them, they might have a few beers, a bit false courage where now they think, oh, I'm tough, I know how to punch. I've seen some action movies with Jason Statham here. All he does is swing that punch and he knocks them out. That's what people think when they've had a few drinks. No, you don't. Because if you come up against someone who knows this much boxing, who knows how to turn the hip and throw that punch, you know, you're going to get seriously hurt. You want to get out of there and run away. Don't care what people think. Now, if you can't fight, you still might want to run away if there's a few different scenarios. Now, you want to think, who's in front of you? Is there one person? Or is there 3 people, or 4 people, or 5 people, or 2 people? If there's multiple people, the chances are you're going to get hurt. You're doing that. Has the person in front of you got a weapon? Has he got a knife? Has he got a bat? Has he got a piece of wood? Has he got a glass? Has he got a bottle? These are things I've seen over the years, you know, people with bottles and things and bats. You know, have they got them? If they've got them, you don't want to be doing any fighting with that guy because he's an absolute idiot. And by the way, this video is not for them absolute idiots. This video is for the good guys. I don't promote fighting. I don't like fighting. I think people shouldn't fight. It's stupid. It's idiotic if you are fighting. So if you're one of them bullies, one of them fools who are fighting and picking on people, turn this off. Don't subscribe to the channel. You're a fool. But this video is for the self-defense guy, the guy who might not have the confidence to go out there and have fights, and you might be worried about what's going to happen. This video is for you. Are you with your girlfriend? If you were your girlfriend, obviously you don't want to run away and leave her around these fools, you know, but as well, you might not want to fight, you shouldn't want to fight, so you want to try and de-escalate it and try to get away from the fight. But overall, you really do need to be aware of your surroundings, see who's there, see what they've got, and then, you know, if you can, get out of there. Don't stand and fight. Don't try and be a hero. Don't try and act tough in front of whoever else is there. Think about yourself, think about your safety. All it takes is one punch, you fall down wrong, bang your head, your life will never be the same. And this happened to someone that I know who was close to my family, got punched one time, fell, head banged, and you know, his life was never the same again. So if you can get out there, please get out of there. If not, stand and fight, but learn boxing. Watch that video below. Go to a local boxing gym. You don't have to spar, you don't have to get punched in the face. Learn boxing and that will really help you. What can you do to de-escalate fights? And what that is, believe it or not, is use your hands, but not in this way, in this way. Put your hands up like this. This tells the person in front of you that you don't want to fight, that you want to back off. This makes you look bigger as well. So if you are there and you put your hands up, you know, you're looking bigger. You tell them, listen, I don't want to fight. I want to get out of here. And when we were in our courses as the doorman, that's what they taught us, you know. If someone's coming up to you, put your hands like this. Straight away, they kind of back off a little bit. And it does work. It really does work. Keeping them at arm's length, keeping them away. And another thing about doing this is, like, you know, you are out of the way. If I'm up close, like this, no, I get punched in the face. But here, now I'm arm's length away. Look how much harder it is for you to hit me if we're here and we squaring off. It's harder.
You should definitely watch this video next where I teach you everything you need to know about how to throw the perfect punch.